We are not doctors. Nothing in this podcast should be taken as medical advice. Consult your physician before starting any workout routine. This is the Martial Heart Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Hey, you got new stuff. Another overlay. I made a new thing, and I'm trying to automate the whole process here of transitioning from scene to scene. So far, it has worked. We won't know if the end works until we get there. But that's for you video people. For everybody else just listening on the audio podcasts, hello. And sorry you don't get to see the fantastic lower third overlay that I've built. Anyway, so recap from last night after I recorded yesterday's episodes, plural, because I kept ranting, so I went ahead and did two of them. The YouTube video version got combined, so there's only one video, but after I did the YouTube part, I went ahead and was starting to, I went ahead and did the audio post-production bullshit that you have to do all the time. And then I decided that I was going to get up and move around, and things just started going wrong. My heart started pounding really heavy, and my pulse rate quickened. And I checked my blood pressure, and it was up. My blood pressure monitor, the screen flashes red if you're out of compliance, if something's wrong. And it was pretty high for me. It's not normally that high. So I relaxed a little bit, kept checking it. About every 10 minutes, I kept checking it. It kept going up. I stopped checking when it was, 139 over 101, I think is what it was the last time I checked, and I stopped. But started doing some, hey, this is how you calm down and get your blood pressure to come back down. So I did that, and I did the relaxation stuff, and it came back down and everything was fine eventually. But once my blood pressure came down, man, I had a massive headache. It wasn't a migraine. For you migraine sufferers, I've been suffering with them for decades. I don't get them nearly as often as I used to, but it wasn't like a migraine. It was just a pounding, regular kind of headache, which for a migraine sufferer is, it's okay. You don't really mind those kind of headaches because you know that you can deal with them. But yeah, just like a throbbing headache for a few hours after that. And it eventually cleared, and I felt fine. But I didn't feel fine until, 8 o'clock in the evening time. So that's how yesterday went. And it's weird. And today, upstairs, downstairs, went up and down the stairs a few times in rapid succession, and had to carry some groceries in from the delivery. And I went down to the basement and got something and came back up. And I've been moving around a lot and kind of at a quick pace because, I wasn't, dragging my feet. I just wanted to get it done. And I was carrying some moderately heavy things at times. And I started to feel pressure in my chest. And I don't understand that. I don't know if that's normal. I don't know if that's from the damage that was done to my heart when I had the heart attacks. I don't know those things, so that's something I'm going to have to ask somebody. And, I won't be going back to the cardiologist anytime soon, so I'm not sure when I'll ask. Maybe I can call their office and ask them. But I'm going to have to do some research and find out. Is that something that just normally happens after you've had a heart attack for a while at least, until you're fully recovered? But it was something that I felt. And I could feel myself kind of getting drained. So, I stopped and I chilled out for a while, and then gradually went back to trying to finish what I was doing. And I'm fine, but now I'm left to wonder, is that part of the rehab? Is that the place where I need to calm down, at this point during my rehab? Is that my heart telling me, okay, that's a bit too much, you need to slow down? I checked my heart rate. And granted, it was a few minutes after I had been doing this, but I checked my heart rate, and it was only at a 98, when I checked it. So not really that high, not like I was doing a cardio workout or anything. So, it's one of those issues that I'm going to have to try and figure out for myself. I'm sure everybody's going to be different, but for me, that was a little troubling that I would feel some pressure in the chest from exertion, and I didn't really consider it that much exertion. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen this coming week at rehab, because they said they were going to up the strain, up the workout a little bit. So we'll see how that affects me. I mean, if they get me up over into that target range that they're looking at, am I going to start having these same symptoms, or was this a weird thing that happened because I was going up and down stairs and maybe I wasn't breathing very well? It could be just a weird thing that happened to me, but I still have a little bit of pressure in my chest right now. And they keep saying that should go away, but it hasn't. So for some people it does. It goes away immediately after having the heart procedure, having the stents and the angio done and stuff. For some people it lingers for a week or 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. I'm at 5 weeks now and it's still there. I've read different people for 12 or 15 weeks or so. They still, it gradually went away. I do notice that now there are times when I don't have it. So it's not a constant pressure now. So it is improving, but now it's getting to the point where I get a little troubled when I start feeling it, because I'm like, I didn't notice it until now when I did this one thing. And, it's a process, I'm sure. But it's part of the mystery of the whole thing is this typical, or is this just me that it's doing this to? And, unless you talk to 150, 200, or 1,000 people who've had the same kind of heart attack at the same, level of intensity or whatever, who's going to know? Like I said before, the doctors don't know either. They're just guessing. Sometimes they make good guesses, but not always. But, like them telling me for 20 years that I had allergies when it was GERD. Two totally different things, but I had several doctors just write off my symptoms to seasonal allergies, even though they came and went all year. Oh, it's just allergies, try this, try that. Nothing worked, nothing, until somebody finally said, well, we're going to give you an allergy panel, and decided that I was allergic to nothing, absolutely nothing. The histamine that they use as the analog, or whatever, whatever they call it. My body didn't even react to that. It took 15 minutes, and she had to pull my skin tight with her thumbs and peer down in there to see if there was any kind of reaction whatsoever. So I was not allergic to anything. And then they're like, well, shit, I wonder what's wrong with you then, because we thought it was allergies for 20 years. And it turned out to be GERD. It was just acid reflux that was irritating my nasal passages, which caused nasal drip, caused a nagging cough, with phlegm and all those things. And it was all it's just stomach acid and acid reflux and things like that. But, like I said, they thought it was allergies for 20 years. And they were wrong. And they're wrong about a lot of things. The doctor in the emergency room was wrong initially about my heart attack. He didn't think, based on the condition that I was in when he saw me, he didn't think I had a heart attack until the test results came back and said, oh yeah, you really definitely had a heart attack. It's funny because it's the same doctor who, when my wife was having a pain in her side, went there and told us, I don't think it's appendicitis, I think it's something else, and came back in 20 minutes later after some test results and said, well, it's appendicitis, so we're on our way to the hospital. It was the same guy, messed up twice, once for her and once for me. So, they're trying. and I'm sure some of them are great. But, an emergency room doctor who sees you now and then, sees 1,000 people, and most of them are faking it because they just don't want to go into work on Monday. I don't know what the actual percentage is. I can just make things up on my podcast, and nobody's going to, research it to fact check me. So, and none of my 8 listeners are going to fact check my podcast. But that's the way things went last night, and that's the way things have gone so far today. But I'm recording this one. We're going to get this episode up today, and I might be putting together something else. I don't know if it'll happen this weekend or not, but I have some other ideas that I'm going to go ahead and jump on and go ahead and do it. What I'm thinking about doing is I'm going to expand a little bit, but I'm not going to explain too much, because what if I don't do it, and then everybody's going to be like, you didn't do it. So we'll see how I feel. But right now I feel ambitious. I don't know if there's going to actually be any enough energy to do the ambitious things that I'm wanting to do. But this weekend I have to work out a little bit. I'll probably do that today and spend tomorrow relaxing and doing some visiting with some people and all that. And then Monday, the big day, going back to work. And then I have cardiac rehab after work. And I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also nervous, not going to lie. Nervous about it. Don't know how it's going to go. I'm assuming I'll feel the same way I do now, which is adequate. I can get up, move around, I can do stuff. I'll probably get on the mower and mow the lawn tomorrow. That sort of stuff. So work, doing light duty stuff shouldn't be that big of a deal. It's how long of a day I'm going to work. That's going to be a question, because I'll be at work all day and then I'll go to cardiac rehab. Maybe I'll be tired enough to actually go to sleep at night when I decide to go to bed. I have not been sleeping well the last few days. Didn't sleep very well last night. And, it's nothing new. Like I said, not sleeping well is nothing new for me. But I assume next week is going to be challenging, because I'm going to have to actually get up and go to work and then come home and do cardiac rehab and do everything else I need to do. So it's going to be an actual full day. It's going back to full activities, minus martial arts classes and things like that. But a normal work day and post-work activities, like taking care of things around the house and going to cardiac rehab, stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting. It's probably going to wear me out for the first week until I get used to that level of activity. It's been 5 weeks, and I've barely done anything. I've been able to get up and walk around and do stuff, do dishes, and sweep, move things around in the little podcast area, because none of it weighs more than 3 pounds, each piece of it. There's just a lot of pieces when you put them together. But, I spent a couple of days doing all this stuff, but none of it was heavy or, hard labor. Nothing I'm going to do at work next week is going to be hard manual labor either, I'm sure. But, it's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens. I've got about 30 seconds, and an outro thing should happen on its own. So I guess we're about to find out here in, I don't know, maybe 15 seconds or so. So anyway, if the outro works, then success. I did something right on this OBS, which, I'm going to say it again. OBS Studio is a pretty sweet software package, and there's all sorts of plugins you can use. So, no, there's the 1420 mark, and it did not happen. So I'm going to have to go back and do this automatic transition thing all over again. But here we are, and hopefully everybody has a great weekend. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, take care of your heart, eat right, exercise, and go get your colonoscopy. I have to go get my colonoscopy done, because I canceled it because it was supposed to be like 5 days after I had a heart attack. So I'll be going back. Good night.